So let's start recording.
I just started, yep.
Alright, good. So welcome everybody to this improvised lightning talks.
Improvised?
Well, we decided yesterday to do it. So we have two talks today. One by Matthieu about stress and the brain, and the other one by Sylvain about
RawBot virtualization.
the virtualization tool that you've all seen yesterday during the team show. So let's start with Matthieu for 10 minutes piece on stress and the brain.
Hello everybody. This presentation is a neurocognitive approach of serenity. So we'll talk about stress and about brain. Actually, I feel stressed talking to all of you, and I hope you will enjoy the presentation. Non, ça marche pas. Attends, je sais que c'est bon. Ça. Qu'est-ce que ça fait? Arrête. So, what is our brain? Evolution gave us different brains, or cortex, and here's a simple map of the different brains we have. The oldest one is the reptilian, then came the paleolimbic and the neolimbic. And as a Homo habilis descendant, we also got a prefrontal cortex that we'll talk about. Now, let's see more in details. The reptilian cortex is your instinct, or we can say a memory of old ancestors. When you put your hand on a hot plate, you take it out fast. This is not conscious, it is our instinct. Then came the paleolimbic brain. It came with the first mammals. From this step of the evolution, a mother loves her children and a clan protects his members. And then came the neolimbic brain, allowing us to build great websites. It is our intellect. And finally, the prefrontal cortex is working when you get a genius idea. Well, I guess that vertical alignment in CSS is also about prefrontal cortex. Okay, and these three brains are automatic, and they want you to survive. To do this, they are very efficient because they are automatic. They are very fast. The prefrontal cortex is slow and almost not conscious, but it gives you new ideas to manage with complex stuff. Okay, so in less words, automatic brains make you survive in stress situation. And today we have a lot of stress situation, or maybe just I don't know. And the automatic brains are working hard to find a way to survive. But in fact, only 5% of this situation present a real danger. In 95% of stress situation today, your life is not in danger. But we still have these automatic stress reactions. So these reactions are because we think that we will die when our code doesn't pass the test. The reptilian cortex wants us to escape the situation, or fight against the universe, or play the dead and hope. The paleolimbic make us feel fear, anger, or sadness. And the neolimbic make us deny the reality, or trying to dominate and have irony or cynicism about the reality, or at least at the end resignation or subject dependencies of any kind. Well, that is theoretical stress reaction. The goal is always to survive, even if our life is not in danger. Now the scoop. Prefrontal cortex does not care about death. Meaning what? If you are able to activate your prefrontal cortex in stress situation, the reaction can be completely different. You can have humor about the situation. You can take a step back and see the reality differently. You will have intuition and find out new solutions. And finally, the stress fall down like sand in a calm water. And that we can call serenity. Okay, great. So how to do it? How to activate the prefrontal cortex? Here's a few questions you can ask yourself to switch in this prefrontal mode. Imagine your stress situation. Yeah, do it. Imagine a stress situation. And ask yourself, what my curiosity reveals to me? What can I win fighting against reality? What can I lose accepting this reality? Is it completely white or completely black? What is my opinion? What would be the opinion of my grocer, of Jules Caesar, of the river if I was in a fairy tale? How would I explain the situation to an 8-year-old child? Is there any reason I can see right now? And what do you think if I have to account to anyone? Okay, that's a few questions. I have more questions in my paper of the training I attended, so you can ask me for more questions if you want. The secret is that you need time. You need to take a break to activate the prefrontal cortex. You have to build the conditions that allow him to work. For example, you take 3 minutes for a meditation exercise. But remember that the time you spend acting on stress is longer than the time required to switch to prefrontal mode. Okay, now let's do some games. Together we will say the colors we see, but not the color we read. Do it loud with me. Yellow, blue, green, red, green, blue, red, yellow, blue, yellow, green, red, yellow, green, red, blue, yellow, green, red, yellow, green, red, blue, yellow. Okay, great, awesome. So it forces to deactivate the neolimbic, because the neolimbic is where you learn to read. So you have to deactivate this brain and activate the prefrontal, because you are using your senses instead of your intellect. And we can see, doing this exercise, that the automatic brains are very strong. They are so strong that we would rather contradict us than being happy. Because surviving is related to a kind of comfort. And it is very comfortable to be right, or to think we are right. And when our automatic brains are working too hard, we'd rather contradict us than being happy. Then I present a few other games. You take a friend, you say 1, he say 2, and you say 3, and then he say 1, and you say 2, and continue like this, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, each other. You will see it is difficult because you want to count, but you don't have to count, you just have to say the next number, because if you count, you do mistake. So you can play for a while, and then replace the 1 by a kraken sound. For example, and you also do a relevant kraken's move. You continue, you play again, and then you replace the 2 by a code sound, for example. So it will do something like brrr, moo, 3, brrr, moo, 3, and so on. And then you replace the tree by, well, what the fuck you want. And also a relevant move. And if you play to this for a few minutes, you will feel like in a trance. Okay, last game. So you take a friend again, you put it in front of you, do a movement, and he has to follow. Then he do a movement, and you have to follow, like a mirror. There is no rule about who is the leader, who chooses the movement to do. So you take the lead sometimes, and you have to detect when your friend takes the lead. These two games will force you to use your senses instead of your intellect. You will get a dummy face with a persistent smile. And you are training your prefrontal cortex. And this brain doesn't know stress at all. Okay, now I'm not a psychologist, so if you feel stressed every day, maybe you need one. I'm sorry, I can do more. Anyway, if you have interest, here's a link to the training about stress, brain, and leadership. And thank you very much for your listening. I don't know if I can answer to your question, but you can try, so please ask. Thank you.
Questions?
Une question. Okay, no question. Thank you.
On passe au prochain. Ouais. Thank you. So switch computer to Sylvain.
Hello?
Hello. How do I speak into Cedric's laptop?
We'll go on the microphone here and the screen from Sylvain. I don't
Here's something now.
Yeah, because I unmuted the Sylvain's using Linux, but they don't know how to do sound.
Let's try that.
Okay, it's working.
Okay, can you hear me correctly? Because we have some echo here.
We're echoing.
Okay.
Okay. So I hope you can hear me. I will start. So yesterday I presented the RawBot virtualization framework during the team show. Now I will make a quick demo on how to install it on your own project. So the first step is, of course, to go to the project page. It's hosted on GitHub. It's on Team RawBot organization. And then you have a one-liner you can just copy and paste in your project. So I'll just copy this and go to my project. Can you see can you read the console?
More or less. Can you zoom in a bit?
Okay, great. So I just copy this here. So what this does is it creates a GitHub module with the virtualization files in it. I have different rows available. Here you can see in the virtualization directory all the available rows. And the next step is to edit the virtualization/parameters file, which contains some default values. I'm going to change them now to reflect my project. So let's put this. Here I have an IP address I can change. If you have several projects, you will want to use a different IP for every project. Here, since I will be using the LXC box, this is not used. This is the root directory is a directory which is served by Apache. Since my project has all the files in the web directory, it's by the way, it's a Symfony 2 project, and all the files are in the web directory. The next step is to change the playbook.yaml file. And again, I have some default content in this, and I just need to uncomment the lines to adapt it to my project. So I see I have various roles available. My project uses MySQL, so I will uncomment this one, and it uses PHP with Apache, so I will uncomment this one as well. If I wanted to use Compass or Solar or Composer, I could just uncomment these ones and they would be installed in the box. Since our project is a bit custom, I need some additional tasks to run when provisioning the box. So I will just copy-paste them because I wrote them earlier, so we don't waste time now writing them. Copy a file named parameters.yaml.dist. I fix some permissions here, and I run some custom commands. So all this file is just a plain Ansible playbook, so you can use all the Ansible commands in this file. Now I'm done with this, I can just run the Vagrant app, and it should just... so the box is already up because I didn't want to go through the process of provisioning everything because it takes about 10 minutes. But if you can know. Okay, let's try to get into the box. Just shut it down. So here I'm getting the LXC version, which is faster than just the plain virtual machine, and this is very useful, as I said yesterday, for continuous integration, since your tests will be running a lot faster. Here the provisioning is quite fast since the box has already been provisioned before.
Franchement, t'aurais pu démarrer un peu de code.
Okay, so it's finished. I can now just fire up my web browser and point to vca.lo, which is the name I put in the parameters.yaml file on the hostname part. So if I go to vca.lo, I should hopefully get the website without any asset yet because I didn't download all the uploaded files. But you can see it's working. So I have a working MySQL, Apache. I have the virtual host configured, and I could quite easily add Solar or any other service to it. And then you have a whole box at your disposal, so you can run console commands and play with your project. And now if someone else just clones the repository, they can just vagrant up and get the same site as you have here. That's all I wanted to show. If you have any question, please ask.
Question from Fribourg.
Questions?
Can I ask a question?
Il y a quelqu'un qui a une question.
Do you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Do you plan to move this repository into the Liip official repository in GitHub, or what's the reason to keep it in a RawBot repository?
Yes, we could move it to the Liip organization. It was basically on the RawBot organization for historical reasons. But I guess if more people are going to use it, we could move it to the Liip organization. Actually, in Lausanne, we are using it now for all of our projects, I think. And when we are taking back historical projects, we use the RawBot organization thing.
It seemed like it was a great answer, but I just couldn't hear it, so maybe...
Can you hear better here? Is it better?
Yeah, try it now.
Okay, great. So what I was saying is that it's on a Team RawBot organization for historical reasons. We didn't move it. It's not better, right? You can hear me.
Kind of, yes.
Right, I just try on the other computer. Okay, is it better now? Okay, I can't hear you anyway,
Yes,
so maybe
yes.
just a hand move if that's okay. Okay, great. So yeah, the Team RawBot organization is basically here for historical reasons, and we didn't move it yet to the Liip organization. I think if more offices were to use, more teams were to use this tool, it would make sense to move it to the Liip organization.
Okay, thank you.
I do have another question.
Sorry, we have a very weird setup here in Lausanne.
Hello? Fribourg here, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, I have another question. Are there other benefits apart from the LXC support for Linux compared to standard Vagrant setup? Did you get it?
So you asked what are the benefits over just plain Vagrant box without LXC, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so the first reason you want to use LXC is for performance reasons, because it's really faster and you don't have any file sharing issue you could have when using plain Vagrant boxes, because when you use just Vagrant, you use either NFS or VBox guest tools to share your files, and you can easily have issues with that. When you are using LXC boxes, it's just a bind mount, so it has direct access to your hard drive, and it's much faster, and you don't have any delay, and you can watch your files. When you are using NFS mounts, you can easily have issues with, for example, SAS, watching your files, and it will not detect the changes. So when using Django's run server, which watches your code for changes, you can have issues with that you don't have with LXC.
Yeah, it's okay. I should have rephrased better. What are other benefits for non-Linux users, actually? Or non-Linux hosts, actually?
Okay, so the alternatives for non-Linux OSs are, I think, inexistent right now, since LXC's containers, Linux containers, it's really just for Linux, and the only alternative for other platforms such as OS X are really just virtual boxes. You don't really have any alternative. Even if you want to run Docker on OS X, you end up running Docker inside a virtual machine. So you don't have any real alternative right now, as far as I know.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, if there are no more questions, I guess we can say bon appétit.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.